come back to ideology and fiction. And we're going straight into freaking Gaia's navel. Now I have to freaking... Oh. You.
イービルロイド雰囲気が少し違う
I could feel the killing intent it directed at
考
me.
えるのはアートってわけねどっからでもかかってきなさい
Oh. Oh. Oh, these things are stronger. These things are extremely squishy. They hit, but I'm like... Come on.
まこんなものね
It took me like a couple of... Oh, that's 5,000 XP.
今のは一体
The hell just happened? I don't know, but these things are a lot stronger. This is where the fun begins. It dissolved into motes of light and disappeared the moment I killed it. I never ran into a life form like that before. If I had to make a comparison, I'd say it was like someone combined a demon with an evil roid.
きっとこの遺跡に何かが
I have a feeling these things are going to be much stronger. Let's test.
どっからでもかかってきなさい
Oh, the test.
いやこの調子でいきたいわね
I'm immediately disappointed. I was expecting like several
どっからで
turns.
もかかってきなさい
Shit, like, come on, I was expecting like several turns.
この調子でいきたいわね
Not go straight back to one-shotting literally everything. Now I'm gonna clear this entire stage. I'll be back. Okay, I did get that chest over there. You wanna know? Those of you, I wanna know. It was, let's see. Oh. It was this right here. It only grants TP regeneration. I'm keeping that in there. Eventually I'll have a bunch of regeneration stuff. I want to decrease
どっから
spells
で
for
もか
now,
かってきなさい
just to be on the safe side. Why am I using fire magic? I have a demon slayer sword.
この調子でいきたいわね
And the equipment I have just boost physical. I'm gonna be killing a lot of
どっ
demons
からで
anyways.
もかかってきなさい
Slug. Ah.
この調子でいきたいわね
TP. I'm gonna freaking slaughter my. Oh,
どっから
I'm
で
gonna
も
kill
か
this
かってき
demon
な
and
さ
just
い
run in there.
いや
This one was
こ
not
の調子でいきたいわ
fast
ね
at all. This one was not. I'm level 60. Well, I wanted to save. Like I said, over 20 hours. I am not gonna go all the way back. I'm not gonna redo everything.
何こここれは
The capsules were filled with faint green liquid. They seemed to be some sort of incubators. They were filled with people who had elf ears and all sorts of weird tubes going into their bodies. One of the incubators suddenly shattered, and the elf inside walked out on unsteady feet. His eyes were lifeless. He stood in place, neither moving nor talking. And then he started muttering like a sleepwalker in a strange language.
あの大丈夫
I started walking towards him. Kill him! Hurry! Just do it before it's too late! And
何これ
transformed. He grew horns and jet black wings. Well, shit, we're only 5 minutes into this episode. If I had to describe him, I would have said he was a young behemoth. His roar was that of a raging behemoth. Die! Louge mercilessly stabbed the newborn behemoth through the heart. Crimson blood sprayed everywhere, and the behemoth became an unmoving lump of flesh. Huh. Phew, glad I got here before it grew bigger.
ねえ、あなた何か知ってるの？今のエルフがまるでベヒーモスみたいに。
Well, I suppose I can tell you. This is knowledge you should have, Glacier. Did I ever tell him my name? Well, he knows your name. Follow me.
ここは一体何なの？明らかに誰かが使っているっぽいのだけど。
This room. The room was filled with magical devices I'd never seen before. These ruins were ancient, but there were signs that someone regularly visited here.
ひょっとしてあなたが？
No, even someone like me, as terrible, getting close to a place declared off limits by the government. This is the first time I've been able to come here.
でもやけに詳しそうじゃない？
Huh. You're right. I mean, it's only natural for all sorts of trivia to build up in your head when you're lived for hundreds of years.
何百年？ふざけたこと言わないで。そんなに長生きできるわけないじゃない。
Huh. How old is he? Incredibly, the average lifespan for a human was around 70 years. Elves, beastlings, and other demi-humans had similar lifespans too. I'm not joking. Oh, shit. I wanted to read that. Was he serious? Had he really been alive for hundreds of years? I'm going to tell you about the things I've seen and learned. It's up to you if you want to believe me. Louge sat down on the sofa and began slowly telling his story. This is a story about ancient times. The exact records are lost, so we'll just say it was a few hundred years ago. The kingdom of Lofina, a country made up of entirely of elves, was located here. The country was, well, resembling prosperous. It was involved in any wars. Its people lived peaceful lives. But a fool appeared who conflicted peace with boredom. And unfortunately, that dumbass ended up becoming the country's king. That was the beginning of the end for the country of Lofana. Things wouldn't be so bad if the idiot had just made a private less mess. But someone appeared who spared him on to make a mess that would destroy the entire nation. The man who appeared was named Stoll. The Stoll everyone calls Miracles. genius scientists nowadays.
ちょっと待って。シュトール博士が亡くなったのって確か数年前のはずだけど。
I'd heard the news that he was killed by some sort of bandit. Yeah, Stoll was the reason I was able to live for hundreds of years. It was a side effect of the technique he used on me. But that's not important. I have to explain how Lafana met its demise.
ベヒーモスに滅ぼされたって聞いてるけど。
Maybe. Yeah, that was what they say. And in the end, it's not entirely wrong either. Ecclesir, how do you think behemoths were born?
それは。
I was just an elf, transformed into a young behemoth. Huh. Oh, just saw an elf turn into a young behemoth. What you saw is all there. It is too. Is to it.
さっき見たのが全てって。ということは、ベヒーモスって。
Yep, apparently they're elves. Yeah, they're elves. Not special elves either. Elves that were born, lived normal lives, and would have normally grown old and died. Loud's fist trembled.
わけがわかんないんだけど。何それ。じゃあエルフはみんなベヒーモスになるかもしれないっていうの？
Yes. Loud silently shook his head.
じゃあどうやって？何が起こってベヒーモスに？
Yes. Annette, Cliff, Elisa, and I were all elves. It could happen to any of us. Maybe even half-elves like Flake could transform. I could end up taking the life of a friend without even knowing it. It was too painful to think about. And the pain in my heart was so bad, I thought I was going to faint. Calm down, Clasir. First, I have to tell you about who's preceding the behemoths. Producing. Yeah, behemoths are artificial existences. They're not the product of a natural birth or sun maturity stuff. The kingdom of Lafana produced a huge number of behemoths and was annihilated by its creations. To put it simply, they ruined all their own demise. Can you imagine the bitterness of those who only wanted to keep living in peace? I can see it. His tone was that of a man talking about a nightmare he had the other night, but I could feel his regret and
どう
frustration.
してあなたはそんなに詳しいの？
Because I saw it happen with my own eyes, hundreds of years ago. I witnessed the destruction of my country.
じゃあどうして国はベヒーモスをそんなにたくさん作ろうとしたの？戦争して他国を滅ぼすため？
The war part is right, but they didn't produce behemoths inherently. They just turned out that way. They were trying to create Twilight Apostles, Dark Elves. They wanted to turn everyone into Dark Elves. Okay, that actually kind of makes sense. and they ended up turning everyone into a behemoth instead. Behemoths have no reason or morals. Lafana drowned in the sea and hellfire in mere days.
ダークエルフ作られた？どういうこと？それじゃあファルケは。
Maybe? Who's Flank? You mean that handsome young half-elf fellow? Don't worry about him. Only the chosen ones can ascend to become dark elves. Okay,
じゃあ
that makes sense.
どうやってダークエルフを？選ばれた人にしかなれないんじゃ。
I don't know. It happens. At the time, it was theorized that only those who had blood of Lafana's royal family could become dark elves, and only a few of them at that. Because dark elves was a gift granted by a god, Stoll theorized that genius were to reason that members of the royal family ascend. Stoll suggested a plan to extract dark elf cells and transplant them into all the nation's citizens. I don't know exactly how he did it, but Stoll eventually figured out a method to transplant cells from person to person. Well, knowing modern technology. And the majority of Lafana's citizens had those cells injected into them. The goal of the plan was for everyone to be able to freely wield the power of the Dark Elves. However, no one actually became a Dark Elf. They all turned into behemoths instead.
原因は分かってるの？
Yes, I understand everything. Those who can ascend were created that way from the start. They really are chosen by God.
ねえ、さっき王家の血を引いた者がなれるって言ってたけど、じゃあファルケもモニカって女エルフもそうなの？王家の血を？
Maybe? Who knows? There's no way to investigate that sort of thing at this point. I have no clue. I don't even really understand what a dark elf is, honestly. The biggest problem is that there's still a son of a bitch mass producing behemoths. If he keeps making new behemoths every day.
誰がそんなバカな真似を？
Maybe? King Volkter. He was originally Lafana's king, and when his country was destroyed, he fucking escaped alone with his family. There was no way I could believe what he was saying, but I could tell he wasn't lying. So the king had lived for hundreds of years, just like Luge.
でもルフィーナってエルフだけの国だったんでしょ？国王は人間のはずじゃ。
No, he's an elf. He just doesn't show it. He either trimmed his ears down, or hides them somehow. Only elves can transform into behemoths. And behemoths can only live for a year or two before they die naturally. Okay. If that was true, it meant behemoths were consistently being created at this time. Or being set up.
それじゃあ私たちが今まで戦ってほふってきたのって。
Huh. Only elves could become behemoths. That meant most of them were fellow elves. King Volkter prioritized strong elves who can fight for his implantation subjects to become dark elves. Lege wasn't lying. After all, I'd seen an elf transform into a behemoth with my own eyes.
じゃあ私は仲間の騎士や罪のないエルフたちをこの手に殺
Huh.
して
What happens when you put partial elves? Would actually make sense then. My vision went black. My legs trembled. My palms were drenched with sweat.
私は今まで何をしていたの？私は何のために？
Huh. I risked my life to fight. Being a knight was my whole life. But behemoths weren't the enemies of all life. They were victims who were just trying to live happily until they were twisted into evil creatures. I told myself I was fighting to protect myself and all the innocent people out there as I murdered the very people I had sworn to protect. And I'd never doubt I was doing the right thing, not even once. Ha.
圧力のイデオローグ
Ha. You know what? I think this is the best time to kind of end the episode. After I read this. Actually, no, I'm going to save that for the next episode. So, I hope you guys have a great, wonderful time and a great day too. Well, I question what the fuck I'm going to do. We just got all this information too, so see you guys next time.